verse 1, it says that David sends out his armies with Joab. And it says, in the days that kings went to war, David stayed behind. So that's the first thing that should be in your mind as we go into this verse. And it says this in verse 2. One evening, David got up from his bed, and he walked around on the roof of the palace. From the roof, he saw a woman bathing. The woman was very beautiful, and David sent someone to find out about her. The man said, she is Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, and the wife of Uriah the Hittite. And then David sent messengers to get her. She came to him. He slept with her. Now she was purifying herself from her monthly uncleanness. You know what that means. Then she went home, and the woman conceived and sent word to David, saying, I am pregnant. Now, those are not good words to hear, okay? Especially if you're David. When my wife called me and told me, you know, it was kind of scary, but we're married, and so there's that connection. For David, he's like, shoot, there's evidence of what I did, right? So in his mind, he's immediately going, how do I fix this? He immediately starts thinking, how can I backtrack? How many of you guys are thankful that this is David's life on display and not your life? I mean, I'm thankful that this is not my life on display, but that we get to learn from David's mistakes and not Tim Downey's mistakes. Because gosh, I would not even be up here right now if that was the case. But I want you to see something that happens, because basically, this is how the story goes. She gets pregnant. David says, oh no, there's evidence. How do I cover this up? But the first thing he does to cover his guilt is he sends for Uriah. He says, bring her husband. And this is what he tries to do. He brings Uriah home, and he tries to get Uriah to go home to enjoy his wife. Now, Uriah was out on the battlefield. So he was calling one of his warriors back home so that he could cover up for the guilt that he was feeling inside for sleeping with another man's wife. I mean, he's already trying to cover his guilt, cover his tracks. So then what happens? Uriah comes and he goes, why did you call me home? And he goes, well, I just think you should go home, just enjoy your wife, just go get some dinner, just kick off your shoes, just go have fun for a little bit, just take a break, because he knew what he had done. Okay, and Uriah goes, how could I do that? The Ark of the Covenant is in booths. Your armies are out conquering the enemies of Israel. Even right now, your commander Joab is out fighting. How could I enjoy life right now when all of my brothers are out fighting? And David goes, oh, what am I going to do with Uriah? He said, go home, enjoy your wife. Uriah sat outside of the palace all night long. It said he sat outside of the doors of the palace because he could not go home to his wife. So here you see Uriah's integrity, right? You see his character in the situation. And David goes, what are you doing? He calls him back in. And this time, David gets him drunk. Now the story's getting worse. He goes, just eat with me, drink with me. We're chilling. We're being bros. Like, we're good. Uriah doesn't know. He's like, we're cool, man. Like, just come and have some food. Now go home and be with your wife. A second time, Uriah goes and he sleeps outside of the palace. He goes, I could not go home and enjoy my wife. And so David's like, I don't know what to do. Inside he's churning. Inside the guilt is being processed. He goes, I know. I'll just cover it completely. I'll have Uriah killed. And it's this tragic, tragic story that I think sometimes this gets overlooked when we talk about what David did with Bathsheba. But what's really sad here is the poor leadership that David practices with one of his trusted servants. And that is that he takes advantage of his situation, and then he sends him to the front line to be killed by the enemies of Israel. So this very tragic story. And David, he's like, phew, now I got that off my plate, moving forward. Not so much, David. Sorry, not with God, right? David thinks no one saw. After years of faithful obedience and humility, he makes this mistake, and then he tries to cover up his tracks. And I think the reason he went into this position is because he stopped to look at his success. I think the reason that he didn't go out at the time that he should have went out with the kings to battle is he goes, I'm just going to take a vacation, enjoy the fact that I've got men who can do for me what I could do, but I don't want to do. And I'm just going to take a minute and breathe and just look at my success, look at all the things I've accomplished. And right there in that place, this temptation came and hit him. And then one thing led to another.